Welcome back. If you're new here, thank you for coming. This is going to be a short one, relatively. It was a thought that hit my head, and as always, a conversation that I had that made this point stick out for me. And it's always conversations for me because this is when I relate to people in my inner circle, and they're on such a high level of awareness that it helps me to go higher, just the same way it helps them to go higher. And I wanted to talk about obsession, being obsessed. People talk about it in a bad way because obsession could be bad if it's for the wrong reasons. If you're obsessing over somebody who's not interested in you in a relationship, they don't want to be bothered with you, and you're obsessing over them, that's bad. If you're obsessing over something that happened many years ago, let's just say a breakup with an old girlfriend, or you lost a job in it's 20, 30, 40 years, why are you obsessing? You can't change it. But I can become obsessed when I'm going to try to reach a goal, or when I am going to reach a goal. Not try, I'm just being polite when I say that. There's a difference in the psyche of people. Some people seem to always be a winner. Some people seem to always reach the goal, even when others feel that, that's too tough for you to reach. When you know deep down that you're willing to do whatever it takes to reach the goal, even if you take a fall in life, even when you get knocked down in life, whether it's something external that you couldn't control, or somebody had an orchestrated hit on your life to try to smear you and kill off your dreams, when you're obsessed, you can't be beaten, okay? That's when you embrace the all-consuming thought 24/7 that no matter what it takes for you to do to get to this point, you're going to reach it. When I was younger, and I started lifting weights around 13 years old, playing around in my basement, it started out as a joke. A neighbor across the street from mine, Craig Bastian, never forget him. It's the first guy I met in the neighborhood when I was 5.5 years old, September of 1968. A couple years after that, he was over in my basement, and my father always had weights hanging around because my father did martial arts, he did weightlifting, he did judo, he did all of those things. And he served in the British Navy for a number of years before coming to America. So the discipline that he had from young was always there, but he never pushed that on me. Well, one day we're in the basement, my basement in my house growing up, in Queens, New York, and Craig pulled out the old bar that was a little rusted, and we had different plates to put on different sizes, right? Different weights. He put the weights on, he curled it, he curled it, he curled it. He went to failure. He did a lot. And he said, I bet you can't beat me. I said, why not? I can beat you. This wasn't 5 years old now. This was like maybe 12, 13, just turned 13. I think I just turned 13. This was 1976. So I grabbed it. I think he counted the amount of curls he did. I think it was like 26, and he did it in a very sloppy form. You know, he swung it up. We were kids. So I did mine, and I did 30. Well, he wanted to try to beat me. He did 35. I did 40. He did 42. And I think I did 50, and he couldn't go on anymore. And so it planted a seed in my mind. I didn't say at that time that I wanted to be a bodybuilder, but those weights meant something to me because my willpower executed in that task of beating his number. It jump-started something inside of me. So I started pulling out the heavier weights. My father taught me some exercises, and I enjoyed it. I met other people who worked out, some for powerlifting, some for bodybuilding, but it stuck to me. And I wanted to know more about this thing. And it became an obsession. Even when I learned other exercises or were doing them the wrong way, to myself, I perfected the game by learning everything I could. I got around other people, other gyms, other people who were into it, and it made me better. So I feel you have to become obsessed with something that you really want to do, even when the odds are against you. And I don't mean to do crazy things. I never did steroids. I wasn't into that. I wasn't obsessed that much. For me, it was a mind thing and to achieve incrementally goals over a period of a few years, but it started out there. So many people will start out and say, well, I have a goal of this and I have a goal of that. Or when they're younger, they know their parents want them to go to school. So, okay, I'm going to go to school to satisfy my parents, what they want for me. But really, what do you really want to do in this life? What do you really want to do so much against the odds or swimming upstream of what people may not understand at the moment, but you know you can do this thing and you love it so much that you can obsess over it, discipline yourself, and focus against all odds? What is it? And I feel that most people, many people, I couldn't tell you the proportions, but many people punk out on something they feel in their heart that they really love because they want to take the safer way. They want to take the way or take the road or undertake a task for a certain goal that will satisfy others. This is the safest way to do it. You can't do it that way. You got to dare to be great in this lifetime. You have to know that I'm going to focus on this thing so much and I'm going to have to live almost a monk-like existence. It's not really about satisfying friends or other people. You got to do what you got to do for yourself. And that's a lonely road, but it's a road that's very satisfying. And what you got to understand is that really look into this. When you obsess over a goal, no matter what it is, it may not be anything good, right? But let's just take the good side of things. I found that the universe will conspire to help you when it could see that need to be obsessed over reaching this goal in your heart, in your belly. Even before the obstacles come, a way will be made when you obsess righteously and you focus your life. Because most people, face it, they're content with mediocrity. And when you obsess on a goal, mediocrity doesn't come to mind. And some people will hate you for it because they will see you as a winner secretly. But you show up what they're not about. They're not willing to give up the sacrifice of, well, I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. I'm not going to do drugs anymore. I'm not going to sit around and just be content, which they're not content, but they don't have the balls to sacrifice and say to themselves, this is what I'm going to do. And it's in that satisfaction from within comes. And most people don't know that. You see, because when you obsess over something, it's a purpose now that you have in your life. And I've learned and I've observed that when you take a person's purpose away in their life, they're as good as dead. They fall for all kinds of things. They get caught up around all kinds of people, all kinds of things start slipping in their head, or sinking into their head and slipping into their head. Like I say before, you have a rock and you have a couple kids at the edge of the lake and they're skimming the rock. They're throwing it hard, but with skill to skim over the surface of the lake. And the one who has the most skill and knowing how to hit that surface of the lake just right, the momentum with that's with that put within that rock will keep it skimming. What does that mean? What are we saying? Well, when you have purpose and when you have drive to move forward and every day has purpose, well, guess what? It's going to keep you afloat. We will all physically leave this earth. Our spirit or soul goes on. But when you have purpose and you have drive and when you have momentum, it's a different existence, and every day is very satisfying. It's not like, oh God, I got to go to this job. Oh yeah, the bills are already there and I didn't even get the paycheck yet. Yes, and most of us do have to go through that system. I had to go through it most of my life, but I had always kept a purpose for other things that had nothing to do with work. Work was just what you put money on the table, food on the table. You know, just that. That's all it was for me. My identity was never in my job. Some people are like that. So even to turn it off onto a different subject right now, those who identify with their job as being who they are, you can enjoy it, you can be the best at it. But when you leave the job and retire, if that's what you were, it's easy to die shortly after. And how many of us have heard this? Yeah, you know, he worked on a job for 30 years, had a real good retirement. And it seemed like about a year and a half, 2 years, he died and he was in good health. It's all here and here. If something can excite you, if there's a goal that you want to reach, I don't care what it is, as long as it's positive now, because we can have obsessions that are not good for us. And we're moving towards something, but it's not good at the end. But if you can do something or find something that you like, and don't worry what the world says, oh, that's no good, you're not going to make any money like that. You're not. Let me tell you something. And if you focus on the obsession and reaching the goal and being the best that you can in your chosen endeavor, money will come. I knew a guy back in Orlando. He was on one major street in the black neighborhood, and he made shoes. He made shoes, and he would sit up on this wooden rack, and he would sell these shoes. And they were good. They were better than what you see mass produced in the stores. And he had little cards on paper that he made, wrote his number on it, and anytime, lifetime guarantee. Now, if he left the earth, you couldn't find him. If you had a problem with those shoes, he would correct it. Quality materials, look real good, better than anything inside the store, right? But his reputation superseded him because now people knew. Other people were coming from different neighborhoods, different places, because they saw the shoes that their friends had on. Where'd you get those shoes, man? Them things are pretty good. There'll be a time period where you have to prove yourself. Understood. But when you are the best that you can be and you obsess with improvement and getting better, nothing can stop you. Only thing can stop you if you let the negativity in your head. This is why it's good to focus to yourself and not to have too many mediocre people around you speaking mediocrity into your head. Oh, you don't have to push this hard. Oh, you don't have to do this. No. And yes, you have to rest. You have to have balance. But we have so much garbage in our life in the form of people who will talk you into normalcy. You were made by a great creator. This world is great. This existence is great. I see it every single day. Don't let people who have mediocre thinking in their lives and the way they deal with themselves infiltrate your thinking. I'm going to stay away from you. You come into, oh, we got to go drinking sometime. What? Drinking means hangover. Drinking means being drunk. I'm just picking on that. Never drugs, never drinking, never any of that. Every moment of my life, there's a picture-in-picture screen in my mind, meaning that if I have something major to do, I'm going to do it in my day. But there's always that little part of my mind that's thinking about, how can I make myself better in this area? How can I pursue and fulfill my purpose? It may not be, I always say this, 100% of what you had the day before when things were going smooth. It might be just 30%. You might have to take your son or daughter to the hospital. That takes away from that, but that's always still there. But you do have priorities. You do have to go to work. You don't obsess and say, I'm leaving my job. I want to be successful. I'm obsessed. Then when the next paycheck doesn't come in, how are you going to pay your bills? Right? Let this thing grow normally and naturally until you become that. Whatever you can put here, whatever you have here, and whatever your intentions are, make sure that you're moving forward, because you know what? I can't go to sleep unless I can tell myself what I did to accomplish more for that day. Even if I wake up in the day and say, today's this day, whether it's Monday or Sunday, whatever, today I'm going to rest. I may rest physically. I may rest almost mentally, but I'm still thinking about what I have to do, as long as I can maintain that balance, because if you burn out, you're hurting yourself. So you have to be smart with this thing. You know, the same fire that cooks your food is the same fire that can burn your house down. The same fire that keeps you warm if you have a fireplace is the same fire uncontrolled that can burn your house down. So when you have this obsession, you have to control it. You can have a car that has the most powerful engine in it, but if you don't know how to steer that wheel and control the mass of that car and how fast it goes that you don't lose control, it's no good. It'll snuff you out. So you have to maintain your intensity and know how to fire it off at the right time. And it all starts here. A strong mind is necessary. What good is a powerful engine in a vehicle and the suspension is crappy and you lose control of the vehicle? You got to have a certain amount of control, but you have to also know how to balance it. Just like when you ride a horse and you know how to command it to move forward, you know how to make it stop, you know how to make it go fast. It's a certain balance that you need. And when you have that kind of focus, it aids you, but your mind has to be right. Listen, we've all been broke sometime, right? Say, oh my God, I don't have as much of my checking account or my bank account as much as I thought I had. So now you're thinking now for the rest of the week until I get my paycheck, I got 5 days. I got to meter out the little bit of money I have. You know what? You remember every couch cushion where 35 cents dropped out of your pocket. But when it did, you had so much money in your pocket before. You're like, that's 35 cents. I don't need it. I got thousands in my pocket right now. Yeah. But when you're lean, your mind never forgets that. You go into the ashtray inside that second vehicle that you don't drive that much and it's sticky. I don't know how all these ashtrays get sticky, but you know there's a nickel here, a dime there. You know something rolled up under the bed. You check your laundry, you check your clothes that are folded up and you find something in there. Okay, you have another $5 in there because you threw it in the pocket because your hands were full when you had money when you were shopping at the store. You remember all of this. And this is what obsession helps you to do. You don't waste anything. You don't waste any energy, any time, because folks are trying to give you gossip over the fence or through the phone. You're like, oh God, you got to cut those people out or control them if they're close to you because they don't understand how you think. And they go on wasting time and time and time. They may even say you crazy, but guess what? You're accomplishing things. Same thing with me, my bodybuilding obsession took me to win trophies, took me to win competitions. Documented, if you think I'm lying, a long time ago. But that success compounded for other things in my life. That once I committed and once I knew I wanted to get to this point, I'm obsessing over this now. I'm learning everything about it. I'm falling asleep on my phone trying to research this thing, every aspect of it. And this is the only way you get good because in this world, we live in a world of distractions where it's easy to take our mind away and what we should become obsessed over, that energy goes somewhere else. And you can't let that happen. There's always something pulling on your mind, whether it's through your phone or all these alerts on the phone to break you down, and we're becoming vegetables. We end up just looking at the phone with our eyes wide open and our mind wide open, and we have no focus with the energy that we have. And so we end up in this world of mediocrity, and we have greatness inside of us. That's why I say the world is great. I was out in the yard earlier, and I kind of just sat there. I wanted to sit down, but I didn't want to sit down on the dirt, but I kind of squatted, and I was just taking it in, just the stillness of it all. And once I sat there for a while, I began to focus on the tree, and I saw the ants crawling up the tree. They all had a purpose. And in unison, they moved. And that's even greater. Think how great we can become as a people if we obsessed over something great collectively. Because we're synergistic. If we work together trying to reach a goal, we're greater than the sum total of our parts. We're greater than that. So if it's two people working together, it's almost like 25 people. So if you get a married couple or a couple, or two friends or whatever, and you work together and you obsess on this thing and you work together, boy, you can move mountains. This is why in the beginning of anything, you got to be careful of who you have come around. The beginning of your marriage, the beginning of your relationship, you got to keep people at a safe distance. Let this thing happen. You find out that you're pregnant, you got to start eating better if you're not eating good at all. Keep yourself in a peaceful mindset because you're creating the foundation for the rest of your life. When you have a child and they're arguing in the house and there's bad energy and bad food and bad everything, that's their foundation. That's what they gravitate toward when they're older. Even if you think they're not retaining that, that's in their subconscious mind. So the foundation of anything is the strongest part. How can you build skyscrapers and high rises if the foundation is weak? You got to obsess even more in the beginning of that, and also keep your mouth shut. Don't tell everybody, because when you tell everybody, it's like poking holes in a balloon. It's not going to hold in the air. Poking holes up into the bottom of a plastic bucket, and you're trying to fill it up with water. It won't work. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut until you reach that goal, or you're so far gone in it that they can't stop you. It's about that momentum. And sit, look, you can be married to somebody who's going to try to discourage you. You got to keep your mouth quiet about that to them. Hopefully not, but it can go that deep. You can have children that will discourage you, parents that will discourage you. You're still living in your parents' home and you have a lofty goal. There's something righteous that you're obsessing over. They can come and kill it just with a word. You see, the biggest oak trees at one time, the biggest, strongest oak trees at one point was a small sapling that you could have just stepped on and crushed. But after a while, it grew and grew and grew, and it's too big now for you to even touch, to even bring it down normally, right? So this is how these things start. So when you obsess and you're excited over something, keep it to yourself. The world doesn't know when a woman is first pregnant. When that sperm hits egg, lots of times she doesn't know that she's pregnant. She finds out when she knows that her friend that comes around every month is not there. And she goes and checks it out even more. So sometimes, like I said, and often, all the time, keep it to yourself. This is why I'm here. This is why I reached the goal of where I am and what we've created. And there's so much more. It's worse now because the foundation is there. The atmosphere is here and nobody can penetrate it. And especially nobody can penetrate my mind because I was born for this. And you got to realize you were born to accomplish. You got to realize that you're born with greatness inside of you. The world has distracted you and pulled you away. It could be a spouse. It could be family. It could be neighbors. It could be some fake friends, whatever have you. But you got to clean the slate, clean house, and find out on what you want to obsess on. No matter what anybody else says. Oh, that's too much. You can't do that. Look, if you're willing to dedicate years into your craft, and this is your purpose, I'm going to tell you, you might be isolated, it might feel lonely sometime, but your purpose is the thing that makes life sweet. You have a purpose. You have a momentum, not just being a consumer of entertainment and just endlessly scrolling and letting time go by. I remember 40 years ago, 50 years ago, things were better. And what about now? What about the time now? Today, these are my best days. Oh, I've had some wonderful times in my life, consistent. I can tell you a whole lot of stories about a whole lot of things. They were great. They were wonderful. But you know what? Each section doesn't compare. It's a different mindset, a different energy with that section. And what are you going to do about it so that in the near future, you can look back on this time and say, you know what? Damn, those days in 2025 were sweet. No matter what's going on in your midst, don't ever let anything take you away from your passion, your goals, and what you need to be righteously obsessed over. I know this for a fact, and this is what keeps me sane, keeps me going, and keeps me not discouraged. Because I'll clean house in a second, because I'm going to always keep that fire in my belly and keep focused. For you, your homework is to find out, if you don't know what it is, what really gets you going. You might want to bake the best pies. You might want to lose a little weight. You might want to be a public speaker. You might want to do something beyond the 5 friends that you have. Like they say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. You want to have better people around you. You want people to be better than you. And if they see that you have an obsession to improve in that area of expertise, they'll always welcome you aboard because they see that you're driven and you have that energy. They're not going to say, well, you don't know anything. Don't come around me. No. You have an obsession to get somewhere, and it helps them out also, because when you help out somebody who has that drive, it helps you out. That's why teachers relearn things when they teach things to their students. It gives them a refresher course. If not, and they're not exercising that exchange, then things dissipate and things fade away. The main thing in this life, keep your purpose up, but you keep it with your righteous obsessions. that'll keep you going for a very long, long time when other people just fade off and just say, I'm going to sit down on the couch and get fat and just drink some liquor and just, smoke a little. No, I don't want that. I want to go out fighting. I want to squeeze out every bit of life. I want the satisfaction every day of moving closer to my goals, whether you know it or not. You got to know that if you don't see me doing something here, I'm somewhere else doing something for that same obsession, making myself better. You're not always going to have money, but you can always window shop when you're broke. And you say, okay, when I get this money, I'm going to come in here and get this because it's in your mind. You don't say, well, I don't have any money. I'm not going to go around. No, you can read a book. If you don't have a certain type of gadget that you need to do what you do, learn about it. Read about it, research about it. Like I said, when you have this obsession, you'll be surprised. And again, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to wrap it up with this. The universe will conspire to help you to reach your goals. The universe, things will drop out of the sky just from the energy that comes from your passion, because of this obsession and sense of purpose and clarity and focus. You'll notice things and people will come to you, people who have the same interest and drive. And if they don't come around, it's okay. You can do this by yourself. But for some reason, if you say, hey, I need this job across to the next county or miles away, a car will come to you if you put that in your mind. If you have the righteous drive to get to that job because there's something in that area of expertise that you like, everything comes together. Move forward. Don't start telling yourself, I can't do this because I don't have this and I don't have that. No. The universe will conspire to help you to reach your goals. All you have to do is obsess over it, think about it, discipline yourself. If you love running and you want to be a championship runner and all you got is some old hard dress shoes, run in those until somebody will say, hey, I drive past you every morning and you're jogging in these dress shoes. I'm making this up, right? They may say, well, why do you do this? Well, I want to be in the Olympics one day. I want to be a great runner. Oh, well, I own a shoe store. Why don't you come by? I sell all kind of athletic shoes. Listen, I like your drive. I see you out here every morning. I don't have any money. No, listen, you come pick the 10 best that you want. That's how this life works. You never know who's watching. You never know who's observing and feeling your energy because it may help them. It may help them jumpstart into something that they may have given up with because of something that happened. Oh, I got divorced. My wife left me for another man and I just gave up. Whenever they see your enthusiasm in this, they may know something about it. It may jumpstart them and now you have a team. It's energy. But keep those energy drainers away from you. I don't even want eye contact with them people. I don't want to say nothing to stay away from me. Keep your mediocre self to yourself. And again, I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I'm not going out like that. I got to leave my mark before I leave this plane, even if the world don't know it, but from within. But remember, the universe will conspire to help you to reach your goals if you're determined enough, focused enough, disciplined enough, and obsessed enough. You will not be denied. Thank you so much for being here. Lancescurv out. Leave some comments. Let's talk. On to the next one. Peace.